I would like to bring you the voice of the Red Baron Squadron, Mr. Jerry Van Kempen.
Thank you, Sandy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what a crowd. Let's get ready to celebrate. The Red Baron Squadron is in town. If you're ready, we're starting our 1998 Barnstorming tour here, the first of 27 cities that we will visit this year. Ladies and gentlemen, the lead pilot out there, a great guy from the state of Colorado, Mr. John Bowman. On the left wing, a young man that lives in the great state of Wisconsin, Mr. Randy Drake. On the right wing, this guy lives right here in your town, Gilbert, Arizona, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Mr. Brian Reagan. And in slot position, this young man is a former crop sprayer, lives in a little town in Nebraska. There must be somebody here from Nebraska, Seward, Nebraska, Mr. Jim Sonny Lovelace. I want you to know that if you'll join me now, right now, let's go back 60 years about. Let's go back to 1930. What was going on then, you might say? Were people having the fun you're having? Well, let me tell you about it. Lindbergh had flown the Atlantic Ocean. He was making a tour to promote aviation. A bunch of young men were back from World War I trying to make a living. The banks had collapsed. There was no jobs. They were trying to make a living in aviation. And what came of that is what we know as barnstorming. Now, I'm going to tell you about these young men in a minute, but right now, if you'll join me, it's 1930. You're with your granddaddy or your dad or whoever, you're standing out or sitting just like this, and 4 biplanes are about to entertain you. The smoke is on. Red Baron Frozen Pizza proudly presents the Red Baron Flying Circus. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it on. In the fingertip formation, up and over the top, and now they will transition back into the famous diamond formation. The diamond formation, a big diamond wing over. The Blue Angels and Thunderbirds fly the diamond. We do the same things they do, but we do it at speed of smell, so you guys can get a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, again up and over the top, a big diamond loop in the sky. Look at that beautiful Arizona sky, Lordy. And now to dedicate a brand new product to be in your store soon, the Bake to Rise Red Baron Pizza. They bake to rise and they roll out, ladies and gentlemen. It don't get any better than that. Watch it now, a snap roll. Yeah! Yo! Now, you're always hearing about maneuvers got a name like a snap roll. A lot of folks don't fly. What's a snap roll? Let me tell you about it. If you're driving a car and you turn a corner too fast, it can't make that turn that fast and it skids. If you pull the stick back at an airplane to make it climb, it can't do it that fast. It stalls out. And what you're going to have when it stalls out is a flying condition that if you don't release pressure, you'd fall out of the sky. Then you kick rudder and it snaps around by the prop wash on the tail. That's as simple as that. That's what a snap roll is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me a minute. Anybody that believes that the fighter pilot came out of World War II, my war, or Korea, or Vietnam, or Desert Storm, is badly mistaken. This young man was born of blood in World War I. I don't know how many of you know this, but I want you all to know it. The average life of a fighter pilot in World War I after he got into combat was less than 3 weeks. Do you hear what I'm saying? What a sacrifice this young man made. Now, World War I is so far out of all of our lives, as old as I am. It's before me. Most of you, of course, have a hard time remembering a lot about World War II, but World War I is when aviation was born. The fighter pilot, if he lived, came back, tried to make a living, tried to do something in an airplane, Maybe he flew the airmail, which was very dangerous. Or maybe he wound up in one of the many flying circuses touring this great country. One of them could have been the Red Baron Flying Circus, because Red Baron was a name back then that everybody remembered, as they did Eddie Rickenbacker or the great Canadian ace Roy Brown that shot down the Red Baron. So here they are again, those same young men. And this time we're showing you a thing we call a cascade roll. They'll turn that into half, Cuban 8s. Now half of the Cuban 8 is 5 eighths of the loop. They pull up, roll out on the down line, completing the first half of what we call an 8 in the sky. In trail, loops in the sky, ladies and gentlemen. 4 airplanes flying around in trail each other. And now, each airplane goes straight up into the sky where Marilyn Monroe lives. When it stops going up, it pivots on its own axis. We call that a stalled turn. And now, in trail, barrel rolls. You bet. Watch them as they follow each other around through a beautiful barrel roll in the sky. Reverse half Cuban 8s. They put the roll in on the way up. Pull through this beautiful blue sky. Look at that smoke hanging there. 4-point hesitation rolls. Count them. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times. Are you having fun back in the 1930s with me? I want to hear from you. Okay. You know, it's too easy to think, especially for the real young folks, that the old gray people like me and your granddaddy and all didn't have any real fun. Well, we had as much fun as you can believe with these kind of airplanes. I'm very proud of these young pilots. We fly these airplanes back and forth across the country all summer. We're going to Tucson in 2 weeks, which is an easy jump. Then it's North Carolina, then it's Florida, and then it's on and on back to California 2 or 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at what the barnstorming era was really all about. But right now, ladies, this is for you and you alone. Red Baron Frozen Pizza, dedicating their brand new product, the Bake to Rise Red Baron Pizza, wants to do something for the ladies. This is an early Valentine. Watch and see what John Bowman and Randy Drake do for you. On comes the smoke. Pretty soon you're going to see what they want you to see. A great big Red Baron heart in the sky, and it's for all you ladies. That is a Valentine for you. You deserve it. That Burnett watch now from your left. We got our crazy man, Mr. Jim Sonny Lovelace, and the young whippersnapper that lives here in your town. And I want you to watch what they're doing now. These noses are down. We need 180 miles an hour. Looks like an ordinary loop in the sky. Watch them. Oh, yeah. Watch them. Stick his back. Right about here, they kick, rudder, yank the stick in their lap, and woo, woo, we call that an avalanche. Oh, yeah. Do not take your eyes off those guys. I don't believe those young daredevils would dare do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll ruin your Fruit of the Looms if you don't do it right. That's the way it was in 1930 when maybe Granddaddy wasn't having a good time. Ha! You bet he was. Okay. I've taken you back, but let me tell you about our airplanes. These airplanes, of course, were made to train fighter and bomber pilots in World War II. The design goes back to the 1920s. But when World War II came along, we needed a primary trainer. Boeing was given the contract. Lloyd Stearman had the plans. and 12,000 of these airplanes were built. Now, the reason they survived so well is because they were used for crop spraying. You know what happened after World War II? We bulldozed P-38s up in a pile. We bulldozed P-51s up in a pile. But this airplane had a use. You could spray crops with it. In fact, all of our airplanes at one time were crop sprayers. But I want you to hear this. One of our airplanes came off the line December 7th, 1941. That's a date that you will see remembered early or later with Tora Tora, but one of our airplanes came off the line on Pearl Harbor Day. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at are 4 World War II airplanes with some modifications. They originally had a 225 Continental Lycoming. Now they got a 450 Pratt & Whitney. We added another aileron to each side. That makes the roll rate is better. That's the thing on the wing that flops up and down. We put a cowling on it, and we put a smoke system in it so you can see what's going on. All that smoke in is Corvus oil, or it's a biodegradable oil they use on forms. It's a simple thing to do. You just pump it into the hot exhaust. It has a high flash point. It won't burn. So now you can be in the air show business too, because you know all the secrets. But right now we're in the Arrowhead formation. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is what it was like in 1930. Red Baron salutes you with an arrowhead loop in the sky. Oh, I haven't seen anything that pretty so long. Now watch them, they'll transition back into the diamond formation. Another big diamond. A diamond half cubanate. They'll roll out simultaneously in the diamond formation. Oh yeah, don't get any better. Now a big diamond clover loop. Watch them. Take a picture of that. I just think this couldn't be a nicer sky. Get ready now. You're going to like this. Get your cameras ready. All 4 of the airplanes go straight up into the sky. Nobody else does this but us. Ladies and gentlemen, a diamond cluster hammerhead. Take a picture now. Down they come, straight out of the sky, back into the diamond. Oh, Lordy, nice and low for another great shot. Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to set up for a couple maneuvers that are special for you folks, and I want you to enjoy them. You know, you notice I was back there looking at those cars. Did you ever imagine you'd be in a showroom looking at Cadillacs and 3 of them would be sitting there along with a Mercury?